We need a system change. Yeah, we're stuck in this loop, and unless we break that sort of vicious cycle, it doesn't seem like we will get anywhere. One individual can't save the world, and we need everyone to do so. My name is Greta Thunberg, and I'm here at Penguin to answer some big questions. I mean, it certainly feels that way, and that's a very big problem, that people think that, oh, there's nothing I can do about it, it's too corrupt, and I can't change, so that it creates like a negative spiral. People underestimating the actual potential in order to change. Politics are very corrupt indeed, but it has been very corrupt before, and it has been able to change before. So as it is now, it is too corrupt to change. But if we manage to get a massive pressure from the outside, we can still change it. I wouldn't say that I am hopeful nor pessimistic. I'm realistic. It is fully possible to change it, but not if we continue like now. It is undeniable now that we need a system change in order to stay in line with our international climate targets, like the Paris Agreement. If we are to limit the global average temperature rise to below 1.5 degrees Celsius, we need a system change. The UN predicts that by the year 2030, the world will produce more than twice the amount of fossil fuels than what would be consistent with the 1.5 degree target. So if you translate that, and it makes you realize that if we're to stay in line with that target, we need to tear up like contracts and deals on a scale that is not possible within today's systems. So that is like science's way of telling us that we need a system change. And of course, a system change doesn't happen overnight. It is something that will take time, and it will take many, many people getting involved. Because no one else is basically acting as if there was a crisis. At least that's my experiences. Humans are social animals. We, to a very large extent, copy the behavior of the people around us. And if I just go on living my ordinary life with everyone else around me doing the same thing, no one will kind of interpret it as if we are in an emergency. And if our leaders and the most powerful voices are spending all their time trying to communicate that it's fine, you can go back asleep, we won't get that sense of urgency. For example, if we look at the COVID pandemic, almost overnight people's behavior changed. That shows that social norms can change very quickly if we actually decide to start treating the crisis like a crisis. But as it is now, we are not doing that whatsoever. And of course there are many reasons behind that. The people we listen the mostly to, for example, the media, is not treating the climate emergency as the emergency it is. It is still a topic among other topics. The media gives more coverage to celebrities and sports than it has ever done to the climate emergency. And that kind of sends a very clear signal to people that it's not that important after all. And also, of course, there are many people, lobbyists, think tanks, people in power who spend lots of time, money and resource to spreading doubt, denial, and try to distract and delay and minimize the crisis so that we won't take it as seriously as we would have done otherwise. Both yes and no, if I speak on behalf of myself. I am, of course, much wiser now than I was when I was younger, but that's because I've been able to educate myself more, and I have experiences that I can base statements on and so on. But wisdom can be many different things. In many ways, I think that many young people today are in some ways more wise than many of the older people, the so-called boomers, because young people seem to be more keen to change things. It seems like young people, to a larger extent, understand the urgency of the climate crisis. We don't use the excuse, it's always been this way, to avoid taking action, to avoid changing things. It seems like in many ways young people have a much more clearer, blank perspective of the world, and we are not used to these habits, and we can envision another future. A very oversimplified answer would be humanity. But that's not really true, because there are some people who have done much more than others. So that statement is false. There are some people, some very powerful people, who are the ones who run the world, who have set the agenda, who are the ones who are deciding on our future, basically. The overwhelming majority have done next to nothing to cause this crisis. It's not only the world leaders and fossil fuel companies and so on that are responsible, of course. I think a large part of the blame falls on media and those whose responsibility it is to educate and inform people about this emergency. If we leave people unaware of this crisis, it is possible for those who are actually causing it to get away with it. So it's like a catch-22. We are stuck and everyone is blaming each other. People in general saying that, well, I can't do anything because, yeah, it's politicians' job. The politicians say that I can't do anything because I don't have support from people. And the companies say that, it's not profitable, we will go bankrupt. And the media say that, well, we are just reporting about what people find interesting. So yeah, we're stuck in this loop, and unless we break that sort of vicious cycle, it doesn't seem like we will get anywhere. But according to me, the ones who have the most responsibility is, of course, the multilateral corporations who are causing lots of the destruction, world leaders, politicians. I mean, they are elected at this very decisive time in human history. Their responsibility is unfathomable. And then also the media, whose responsibility it is to communicate this crisis and to make sure that people are aware of what's happening so that they can demand action. Of course there is hope, but I think that we need to redefine what we consider to be hope, because today hope is often used to our disadvantage. It is often used to make us fall back asleep. For example, people saying that you don't have to worry, that things are happening and yeah, we have it under control, it's fine, there's lots of hope. That is not hopeful for me, because that means that they are sticking their head into the sand and actually ignoring the crisis. Instead of doing something, they are just sitting back and waiting for someone else to take action, and that is not hope for me. Hope for me is something that you have to create and earn yourself. Hope is taking action. So once we start to act, there will be hope. Thanks for watching. You can get my book, The Climate Book, in hardback, ebook and audio by clicking the link below in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to Penguin for more videos like this.